Howdy guys, Nathan here, and a lot of you have been writing us and telling us that you think that the Honda Ridgeline isn't a real pickup truck. So we wanted to look at that in depth, and to do that, we're going to compare it against a Ford Ranger, what we consider a really good modern-day mid-size pickup truck. But to do this, I need a buddy!
And can I be your buddy?
Yes, you can.
For this buddy review, guys, we're gonna do several tests as always. We're gonna do a 0 to 60 test, real world with 3 people. We're gonna do interior sound check to see how quiet or loud the cabins are. Navigation test.
Yep.
Rough road test. And at the end, we'll give you the pricing and also our rating. Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it.
That's right. Now bear in mind, we've done a lot of other videos with this vehicle, and with these vehicles actually. So keep in mind to keep an eye out for those. But in the meantime, let's go under the hood.
Yeah, let's walk around the Ridgeline really quick. This is a brand new 2020 model. It's an RTL-E, which means it's one of the more optioned one. It's not top of the line, but under the hood is an engine that this truck has had for a while, and I'm calling it a truck because it has a pickup bed, which we'll show you in a second. But under the hood is a 3.5 liter Earth Dreams engine, right, Nathan?
Earth Dreams, baby!
But it's also IV tech, so it's got a fancy camshaft and a total power of 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. But what about the transmission?
Yeah, that's the big story on this vehicle. It's a new transmission. It's a 9-speed. Now, a similar vehicle that this is based on, the Honda Pilot, recently got that update, a 9-speed transmission, and it really did wake up the performance, both in EPA numbers and with off-the-line performance. And we found so far that's exactly what's happening with this transmission as well.
Yeah, and the rest of the truck is kind of the same, but in this video review, of course, we'll show you the acceleration.
Oh yeah.
Which is quite impressive, I think. And also compare it to another impressive truck, which is the Ranger with its turbocharged engine. So let's show them the bed before we leave, because that's very interesting.
Yeah, the bed is really some of the coolest parts of that.
By the way, you just had the hood way up, dude. Like
yeah, I had it on the second setting. There's 2 settings for the hood. Look how high that thing goes. Regular tailgate.
So one thing is, it's not dampened, right?
That's no big
and
deal.
it's quite heavy, actually. Would you say?
There's a little bit of heft to it.
But there's a reason why it's heavy. On the bumper, it says release. You see that? Come over.
Yeah.
Aha!
Yeah, I didn't have that before. Or maybe it did. I just ignored it. There we go.
So this tailgate is pretty clever. It swings this way, so you couldn't load stuff from the side, right? If you're loading from the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's once again very easy to up and lift things in here. And then of course you have this. Now this is really cool. And even the original one had the same thing.
Humongous compartment here. It has a drain over here, so you could maybe put ice in here, maybe some sort of drinks, maybe store a cooler in here as well. It's actually large enough for a large size cooler.
There is a problem.
There's a spare hidden inside the floor, which is not great.
No, this is not a great location for a spare tire, anything but this. The problem is that if you have a load in the bed, you have to remove the load in order to get to your spare tire. I would much prefer it underneath the truck, on the bed, on the roof, anywhere else but here. So this is the one flaw, I think, with this whole setup. But with that being said, I still love having the ability to put stuff in here.
Yes, and I think that's where the truckiness comes in, right? Yes, it's mostly a unibody construction vehicle with a subframe.
It does have a subframe
that connects, right? It's a 4-wheel independent suspension, so it does not have leaf springs in the back.
No.
But the bed is composite, so it's really tough. And I can do this.
It's pretty easy to get into. And also, I wanted to point out that it's also a very easy bed to reach into. What you're going to see is a lot of trucks out there, full-size trucks and even mid-size trucks, have very high bed walls, which makes it harder to access. I do like the fact that you can reach in here and actually touch the bed. It's especially good for short people.
And look at the width. Look at the width. It's at least 4 feet here, so you can actually put that very important 4x8 sheet of material in here.
As long as you have the tailgate open the proper way, yeah, you can do that. Now, how much can this hold? What's its payload? It's about 1,700 pounds, right?
Yeah, it's really competitive in the class as well. Of course, once you get the options, it comes down a little bit. We can show you that. And final trick, it has a cubby on the side, little cubby, and it also has a charger. Can you see that? So an outlet, basically. So, I mean, it has all the usability of all the modern beds, and even the trickiest tailgates, you know?
Oh, there's also a speaker system that's integrated into the tailgate. You
Oh,
can't
into the
see
bed.
it. That's
Yeah.
right. It's actually into the bed itself. You can't see it, but it actually is there. So
It's usually actually the walls of the bed
wall of the bed
to vibrate.
Yeah, and it works. It works fairly well. It's a novel, interesting idea. Really good for tailgating, I guess. But that would probably it's different.
All right,
That's
I'm
what it
dying
is.
to take this on the road. Let's
Oh,
go.
one more question.
Yes.
How much can it tow?
5,000 pounds.
Okay, so 5,000 pounds, that's on the lower end
Yes.
of what mid-sized trucks can do. So keep that in mind. I have a philosophy about this truck, but we'll cover that when we get in it and start driving.
Let's go. So the Ridgeline plays in the mid-size segment, right? Like we already mentioned. But it's actually, look how wide this is.
This is so roomy. That is one of the, see, the interior is really where everything comes together for the Ridgeline. A lot of people who go out there to buy a vehicle don't necessarily need a pickup truck, but they just want the functionality of one. And that's where some of their fan base lies. And I agree with that, by the way. If you don't need a pickup truck, if you don't need all of that capability, why not get something that gets okay fuel mileage, but also is very comfortable to drive on a daily basis? And that's what this was built for.
Yes, and see down here?
Yeah.
This is the new controls for the 9-speed. I'm not in love with this. I've been driving this truck for a couple days. And I'm still kind of searching a little bit, so I'm not used to this.
Yeah, there's viewers who yell at us for not liking this, but I gotta be honest with you, push buttons is not really my thing.
I'm gonna put it in sport shift mode, okay? Because we're doing a performance acceleration.
That's right,
now.
we're gonna do a 0 to 60.
Did you see me? I was grabbing for a
I was doing the same thing, like with my hand over here. So it's not a question of whether or not this is any good. I do have one problem with actually having a push button transmission.
Yeah?
I'm a coffee drinker, like a furious coffee drinker, as you know.
Yes.
And I spill all the time because I'm a klutz. So spilling on these controls, really,
Not advisable.
no, not at
No.
all.
So this is a front-wheel drive biased system. So you can actually buy one of these with only front-wheel drive.
Yep, that's the base price model.
Which makes truck guys kind of crazy.
Cringe, and they hate that.
Yeah, but this all-wheel drive system is actually very, very good. It's their latest IVTM4, which is a fancy acronym, but it means it's intelligent, it can vary torque, and vary, how it appropriates it.
Yeah, actually, we've taken a couple of these off-road. We did take one up our old gold mine hill, and it took it without much of a problem, actually. It did very well. It actually thinks, so it's a thinking system. No, it's not as simple, basic, and frankly awesome as a lot of the systems that are available on other mid-sized trucks. It doesn't have a locking rear diff or anything like that.
Well, it's not a Gladiator Rubicon, for sure.
No, it's not, and it's not built to be that.
No.
What this is built to be, I like to call this a DIY truck, because there's a lot of people who do some home stuff, like to build, do a
Absolutely.
garden
Yeah.
and whatnot, or really light work.
It's really useful to have a bed because you can throw, I don't know, gravel or something else for your
Yes,
yard or your garden.
Bikes or whatever.
Bikes. All right, acceleration test on a regular route. I'm gonna merge, and I'm not gonna brake torque it. I'm gonna slam it.
Actually, that's a pretty good start. Remember, there's 3 people in here, and we're over a mile above sea level.
Yep, and it was a slight uphill. 8.88.
That ain't bad.
And there's no turbocharging here.
Nope.
But did you hear the VTEC? You can kind of hear it at the higher RPMs. The engine sound changes a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's because just the valve train changes the way it works for a little bit more power. And it was shifting at 6,500 RPM.
Yeah.
It was using all of it.
Yeah, it was really using its whole bandwidth. And you know what? That makes a lot of sense, considering the fact that this is a vehicle that's not really a torque monster.
Right.
Okay, speaking of which, let's go. Now, you guys asked, by the way, in the past if we go in front of the air conditioning vents. There's almost 2 feet between me and the air conditioning vents, so, and they're not on right now.
It was like around 63.
I was going to say 63 is
Yeah.
about what the average is. That's extremely quiet.
Dude, anything under 70 decibels is very quiet. And this does have that kind of crossover feeling. That's an SUV.
Oh, it's like a
not-
Honda Pilot.
Yeah. And another thing is the ride is very comfortable. I mean, I've taken this all. Well, we're going to do a rough road test in a second, but independent suspension works really well.
Okay. Now, our next test
Navigation?
is navigation, and we like to call it the SNARFs test.
Okay.
For those
how,
of you
how
that
do I do that?
You talk to it, so there's a talking switch, should be on the left-hand side.
The voice prompt can be interrupted at any time by pressing the talk button again and saying a command immediately. After the beep, say, phone call, music search, audio, climate control, navigation, voice settings,
No.
or voice help.
Navigate to SNARFs. It's working. It's thinking.
Pardon? No command was heard. The voice prompt can be interrupted at any time by
Hold on.
pressing the
Navigation?
say a command.
Navigate to SNARFs.
Speak the name of a place.
There we go. SNARFs.
Did you say snarfs?
Yes.
Yes.
Searching for snarfs.
Okay.
Select a line number.
So, not the best system in the world.
Not natural speech.
No.
necessarily.
So, and it really helps if you actually trigger it, then you have to hit a button on the dash, and you trigger it, then you hit a button on the dash. It works, but it's not as good as some of the other systems we've tested.
I would agree.
Okay.
So finally, let's get on this rough stretch of road, okay? And look at the Hula Girl. So 1 means the best ride, and 10 is the most awful ride, and we're kind of judging it in a fun way with the Hula Girl.
Yep, we've been using her for a lot of the tests with these buddy reviews. So we're about to start hitting the rough patch.
And there's a big pothole coming up.
Yeah, we deliberately hit that, so that's kind of our thing. It'll really suck when they fill it up, if they ever do.
All right, so here we go. All right, she did have some motion, but dude, to me, the hits are separated front to back, but it's nicely cushioned, I think. What do you think?
It's not bad. I've been in trucks that have had better rides, honestly, but this is well isolated. So what you're hearing it, you're not necessarily feeling it. The dash is moving a little bit, but my seat wasn't really moving much.
Right.
I'm gonna give her a 4.
I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty good for a mid-sized truck, especially smaller trucks like this. I would say 3 is a really good number.
Okay. So far, it's proven to be quiet, comfortable, not very truck-like, very car-like, or SUV, quoting crossover-like, I would say.
Yep, I would agree.
So, here are the numbers for its MPG rating. 19 city, 24 highway, combined 21 MPG. And I can tell you, highway-wise, we managed to get some really good numbers out of this thing in the past.
Yeah, we're not doing a true MPG test right now, but there's going to be another video published on the TFL Truck channel where we actually got some real-world trip meter numbers, and it's very impressive. It's better than the EPA.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the EPA numbers. So, the question is, what do you get for the money that you're spending? And we'll cover actual price at the very end of this whole thing. But you're getting a Honda product that is not a truck. In my mind, this is not a truck. What it is,
I thought we said it was a truck.
you said it was.
Okay, I said it.
It's a crossover pickup in my mind. It's not a truck because I don't feel comfortable with the idea of accidentally dropping 3,000 pounds into the bed or trying to tow 7,000 pounds, things above its capability, because there's no real frame. There's a subframe, but there's no frame underneath it that can really take the stress. But 90% of the people out there who want a small pickup truck don't need that. They just need something that they can occasionally throw stuff in the back and, you know, do basic work with and basic things with. If you're a construction worker, if you're serious about off-roading, obviously something else.
And this is actually also a good gateway truck.
Yeah.
By that I mean, if you've never been a truck person before and you're not sure about that ride or the heavy frames or whatever, you can kind of step into this. Be like, oh, okay, this is not bad. It's not that much longer than an SUV, etc., etc. And then maybe you want to get, a bigger truck in the future, maybe.
I can tell you that one of the tests, I drove this home a few times. I've had a few of these that I brought home, and the family likes this vehicle more so than any other mid-sized truck I've brought home. Even though I prefer some of those mid-sized trucks for off-roading and it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
The wife, the kids, putting stuff in and out. This was the preferred vehicle for obvious reasons.
And for as comfortable as this is, and it's got all the latest tech, adaptive cruise control, lane keep, assist. Something you don't get?
And a volume knob.
If
Volume
Roman
knob,
was here,
he'd lose his stuff, man.
Yes, but you know what you do have? You have volume controls on the steering wheel.
I don't care.
So
without a knob, he's going to lose his mind.
Okay, well, let's get into the Ranger and see how that goes.
That's going to be a very different story.
Well, let's take a look at the Ford Ranger. This is a 2020 model.
That's right. And it has some really cool tech to it because Ford decided that they wanted a standard 10-speed automatic transmission and a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. I'm going to pop the hood.
Yeah, you won't find a V6 under here. And this is the only powertrain available currently for the Ranger. So there are no diesel options. There are no hybrids available. Like we said, no V6. And under here is a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder EcoBoost turbocharged engine. 270 horsepower, so a little bit less total power than the V6 in the Honda.
Yeah,
but monstrous torque.
Yeah.
310 pound-feet of torque, and it comes in down low, so it's a completely different setup.
Yep, and if you guys go on to TFL Truck, you're going to see a lovely rumor mill about the possibility that there may be a different transmission available for this vehicle in the future, but you'll have to see that for yourself.
Yeah, and what Ford did, they brought this truck to United States. It was gone for a few years, right? But for 2019, it's back. And it's a combination of kind of some old and some new, right? For the US, let's look at the outside really quick. For the US, they combined, they updated the frame, but they left a lot of the body components the same, like the cab, but they've updated up here. US versions of the Ranger have a unique bumper, and this is a Lariat Sport Edition, and it also has the, one of their night packages, like a black appearance packages.
Right.
So it's got blacked out kind of headlights, grille, color matched bumper, wheels. So I actually really love the way this looks, especially in this red color. Anywhere I go, people are like, whoa, what's that? Because of just how it looks.
Yeah, nothing special about that.
Okay.
But it's pretty light.
Very standard tailgate. You can buy a Ford accessory that has a little bit of a shock absorber here to kind of cushion the tailgate if you like.
Right.
You have a special tonneau cover, which is an optional accessory.
Now, remember what I was talking about with reach over? That sounds strange. But if you look, this is a much deeper bed. It's harder to get into and out of when you're putting items in there compared to the Honda. So that was what I was talking about. And other beds are like this as well. So once again, that's just something that you guys should note, especially if you're really short and you have a hard time reaching in here. Now, what is its capacity?
Well, payloads, the Ranger are about the same. So 1,700 pounds, approximately same neighborhood as the Honda Ridgeline. But a lot more towing, because maximum towing on any version, 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive Ranger, is 7,500 pounds, which is considerably more than the Honda.
Yeah, that's other than the diesels that are out there, that's one of the best in class.
Yeah, which is really good. And of course, well, we didn't show you the hitch on the Ridgeline, but it was also equipped for towing. The hitch is down here on the Ranger, and of course your connections here. By the way, Nathan, neither the Ridgeline nor the Ranger here do not include integrated trailer brake controller. So Ford offers it. You can buy an accessory for that.
Right.
And then in the Ridgeline, you may have to go aftermarket for that. So that's important to know.
Okay, important note, guys, in case you are serious about towing, other automakers do offer it. Already a smaller interior.
Yeah, actually, our camera guy was commenting on this, that he had a little bit less legroom space.
A little bit less. He became a soprano when he started talking.
Okay, once again, push button start here. So Ranger does offer a lot of the modern amenities, like I was saying. I can just kind of show you really quick. A lot of control. This is a Lariat top of the line model, basically. Controls for your cruise control with adaptive, and your voice controls and menu controls here, as well as on the left.
Okay, so why don't we hit it? And right off the bat, let's talk about the interior, because it's kind of I think the weak point of this vehicle. It's not horrible, but a lot of the components that are in here, a lot of the features, they're surrounded by very hard, cheap feeling plastic. It's the best way I can put it. Other parts like this is nice. It's a nice
nice
look,
stitching up
right?
here.
I actually kind of like this black thing here, and it's not like fake carbon fiber or something like that. That's not so bad. But the door panels are a really good example of something that, for a truck that costs as much as this does, I really think Ford could do a much better job.
But check out the width of the cabin. I mean, we're a little closer. We're rubbing elbows here.
Yeah, we quite literally
And this
are.
is typical for a mid-size truck, actually.
Yeah, it is. And this is the interior size of this vehicle is very similar to the size of the Chevy Colorado,
Or
the
a Toyota Tacoma, like
the Nissan Frontier. You know, those competitors. The point is that they're tight confines. So that's one of the things that the Honda really does, is that it has the interior, but it doesn't have the power or the capacity of this vehicle, especially when it comes to towing and off-roading.
Yeah, and trucks are more about torque. And you know, Chevrolet does this, and Toyota to some extent, where they offer you horsepower, but those V6s in the GM or the Toyota trucks don't offer a lot of torque. And this is where Ranger stands out.
Oh my God, it does.
It delivers on the torque equation, right?
It does indeed. And the thing is, this truck on our track has proven in the past to be one of the quickest vehicles in its class.
Well, let's figure this out.
Yep, and we're going to do that with 3 people inside. Once again, reminding you guys that we're shooting at over a mile above sea level. That does have a greater effect on vehicles that don't have a turbocharger. This one does. That 2.3 liter engine, by the way, is a relative of the engine that goes inside the Mustang. So that's a good thing to start with.
Yes, but you know, the Honda wasn't a slouch either.
No, it did really well.
So let's figure this out right here. I'm gonna launch it in a similar way, just off the gas. A tiny bit of lag.
A little bit of servo lag this time.
Damn.
Interesting.
You know, maybe that little bit of lag just cost me.
Well, yeah. Also, you have the auto stop on, and so when you released your foot, it had to actually restart before it actually allowed us to take off properly.
8.98 versus 8.88 in the Honda. So they're basically identical on this particular stretch with 3 folks in the truck.
Yeah. So that's surprising. The good news is, for those of you who are wondering, the power in this vehicle really kicks in when you're passing and you let it spool up. Also, off the line power, if you don't do what Andre did.
You can brake torque it.
Yeah, brake torque it, and you will get a much faster launch.
And we did a drag race in another video that you guys can watch as well on TFL Truck. Do you want to measure this really quick?
Yep.
Okay, let me get up to speed. Go ahead.
Wow.
That's even better than
That's
Honda?
even better than Honda. It was around 61.
Dude.
Under 70 is considered good. More than acceptable for most vehicles. Ford has always been really good at quiet tuning, and this thing definitely is quiet. Once again, I was about 2 feet away from the vents.
Same thing.
Same thing as before.
Minimal speed on the air end. Yeah.
Right. So, impressive.
All right, dude, let me do the navigation test, see how that works.
This is Sync 3, right?
Yep, it's the latest sync. Navigation?
Navigation. Please say a command like find an address or find a place.
Navigate to Snarfs.
Please say a line number or say none of those.
None of those.
My mistake. What was the name you're looking for?
You wanna try?
To search somewhere else, say change search area.
Snarfs.
Please say a line number or say none of those.
2.
Please say a line number or say none of those.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then say set as destination or dial the number.
All right, you know, it performed in a very similar fashion to the Honda.
Yeah, it still requires you to hit the screen. It's not completely hands-free. Sync is a decent system. They've gone from being a dreadful system to a pretty decent one. I don't like how you have to go through so many hoops to find it. Other systems that we've tested, it's been 1 or 2 different words and then you're on it.
Yeah, by the way, you can also connect your phone to both of these trucks.
Yes,
right?
yes, which
So-
of course it eliminates all that.
And you can speak more in a natural way with like Siri or maybe Android, right? With Google. Yes, I'm gonna hit the same pothole, dude. And let's see, same speed. I'm going about 35 in both trucks.
Well, let's watch the Hula Girl and see what she does. Yeah, I felt that.
It's a little bit more pronounced. So this truck has independent front, solid rear axle. So it's more of a proper truck, for heavier towing, heavier payloads.
Yeah, but I'm only going to penalize at one point. Yeah, I'm going to give this, I think I gave the Honda a 4. I'm going to give this one a 5.
I'm with you. I gave the Honda 3, this a 4. I think the ride, it's more truck-like.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
No, it's still fine.
It's a good feeling truck. Just the Honda was a little bit better.
It's interesting because this is a quieter truck, and it has a great highway ride for what it is. But at the same time, it is a truck, and that's one of the things. You have a real frame underneath you.
Yeah.
And that's a solid construction thing right there, right?
And it has something that the Honda does not have. This truck has a low range transfer case.
Yep.
In the rear locker. So while Honda uses more sophisticated all-wheel drive system.
Yeah,
right? Electronics and computers to think about things. It does it really well. This is more traditional, right? Low range for slow speed crawling. There's all the terrain controls, knob over here, terrain management, 4 high, 4 low, a locker button up here, and a hill descent control is available.
Yep. There is a considerable amount of off-road tech on here, but bear in mind this is the FX4 package too.
Yes.
So between those two things, it really does give you a lot of truck for the money. Okay, so according to the EPA, this truck is capable of 20 miles per gallon city, 24 highway, and 22 combined. Those are better numbers than the Honda Ridgeline in terms of EPA numbers. However, when we tested these vehicles, it did better than the EPA as well.
But not as well as the Honda.
But not as well as the Honda.
So Honda and it kind of makes sense. I mean, both of these have auto stop start. When you can disable it for every ignition cycle.
Right.
When you get in, you can kind of disable those systems. But the Honda is lower to the ground.
Yes.
It's more aerodynamic.
Yes.
It has more street-worthy tires.
Yes, it does.
So just Honda, it makes sense for the Honda to get better efficiency in the real world.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. Nonetheless, these are impressive numbers, and they are, according to what the EPA has written here, some of the best in class. That's before you get to the diesels that are available in some of the mid-size trucks that are out there. There's currently no other transmission available.
No manuals. Yeah.
No manuals. There's 2 cab configurations available, unlike the Honda, which is just 1 cab, 1 bed.
Yes.
You can get this with an absolute bare bones package with an extra cab. And obviously that is the least expensive version
And you
of
can
it.
also get, the commercial versions of these trucks too, with bed deletes and different bed configurations.
Right, but the thing is you still get, and this is the point I've always made about these Fords that I love, you still get that dynamite little engine and this transmission.
No matter what you do.
Exactly, no matter what you do, you get that standard. So that is definitely a positive. Both these truck or SUV, crossover truck I think I was calling it, or crossover pickup, both of these vehicles have real positive points to them. And if you think about how efficient and comfortable and capable they are compared to things built just 10 years ago, it's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
So I think the question really does come to, which one would you buy, lease, and or rent? And I think I already have my verdict. I'm curious to what yours is, and also we need to talk about what the MSRP is on both of them, because it is different.
All right, well, let's line them up and talk about it.
Hell yeah.
All right, what's the final damage on both of these trucks?
Okay, now remember, this is MSRP. Both of these are loaded. So the Honda Ridgeline comes in at $43,140.
All right.
And the Ford Ranger, $46,910.
So almost 47.
Right. Now,
But we've seen this before.
we have seen this before. When they're fully loaded, you can get these with a lot less things in them, and of course maintain a cheaper vehicle. Now here's the question.
Yes.
Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it.
I'm gonna give both of these trucks a lease it. I cannot go buy it. For the Ridgeline, it's a lease it because for me as a truck guy, I need to tow a little bit more. So I love the truck otherwise. I'm not in love with its styling. The Ranger is a solid truck, but just the way that the interior is packaged is a little too small. So that's where I stand.
I would give the Ranger a buy it, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It is a really good off-road vehicle, and if it were just a little bit less expensive, and if it had a manual transmission, hopefully one day, then it would be almost a perfect truck. The interior does need a little bit of work, you're absolutely right. The Ridgeline is great. If I still lived in Los Angeles and I didn't do off-roading and I didn't occasionally tow, it would make a lot more sense. But in this case, I do off-road, and I do it a lot. And the Ford makes a lot more sense. So I'm going to give the Ridgeline a lease it.
I agree, the Ranger price is a little steep.
It is a little pricey.
Guys, and go back to tfltruck.com for news and real-world truck reviews. We also do towing, fuel efficiency, off-roading, all of it is there.